Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys board gaming podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we're coming to you with episode 241, recorded on August 30th.
It is August. God damn.
Yeah, it is rapidly approaching the end of the year.
It's almost September.
It
Yeah.
is dangerously close to September.
I mean, the fucking pumpkin spice is back, so we're deep into fall already. So
I had some Upslopes pumpkin beers a couple weeks ago when they first canned them. They were fine.
I will pass on.
Does anyone else not remember what months end in 30 or 31 days?
It's
Like, not specifically. I know how to check real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I know how to check too.
the
It's
knuckle
like-
thing, right? Yeah. Boop, boop, boop.
Oh, I don't know that.
Oh.
January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December.
And the knuckles are 31, the
Yeah.
valleys are 30, with the exception of February.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and I don't switch hands. I just go January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December.
That works. But then you have the 2 extra months after that too. So
I don't know. You just deal with
the
it.
secret months.
The secret months.
Yeah. I've never been able to remember which ones are.
Well, now you
30 or
can.
31.
There you go.
Now I know.
Now you know.
I really wish if I could remake the world.
If you've
in
learned
my-
anything from this podcast, Jeff, make it be that.
I really wish that we could just have time kept like 13 28-day month.
Yep.
Yeah. 28 days, 13 months.
Smarch.
And then
Throw Smarch
one
in
extra
there.
day.
I'd be fine
Yeah.
with a smarch.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, what would be the Roman, or Greek, maybe, suffix for 11? Because that's like November is like 9. October is like the oct is for 8.
Oh.
Nov is whatever for 9. I don't remember what it
And
actually
December's
is.
10.
And December is, Deca.
I'm sure.
Isn't it because Julius Caesar or something like that? They just had they're like, we want 2 months in there for like July, Julius and Augustus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why the 12th month is Deca, which is 10. Because, both of those two Caesars were like, hey, we want months named after us. So we're just going to shove everything down a bit.
Because when I think of July, I think of Julius Caesar. So
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
And same August.
Yeah.
Leaves start falling, and I'm like, Augustus, you wonderful bastard. Mulai. Oh, I don't like that one. I like Smarch much better than Mulai.
I don't like either of those.
Smarch was from the Treehouse of Horror episode where they burned Willie to death.
Oh, God.
Because he turned the thermostat up and it was like, don't touch Willie. Cool. Well, I won't touch Willie, but I will touch this thermostat. And he was sleeping in the boiler room, which then caught fire, and then he died. And then
Wasn't it like Nightmare on Elm
yeah,
Street?
and then he turned into Nightmare on Elm Street,
Wonderful.
where he turned into like a lawnmower or something.
Sounds about right.
Cool. Well, there's your engagement period.
Calendars and Smarch.
Yeah.
Calendars and Smarch. So with that, we'll jump into what we've been playing, because I think you guys have a lot to talk about. So I'll do mine first and just get out of your way.
Okay.
We didn't have a stream on Friday because you were up in the mountains playing board games, which you'll talk about on your turns.
Yes.
That means for me, the only games that I played this week were at game night. So this Wednesday, we were at DBC Arvada. I went a little bit early and met up with some people who were looking to play Root, because I'm always like, fuck yeah, Root. So we played a 5-player game of Root with my expansions. I was the Underground Duchy. We were playing with, there was somebody who was the cats, both sets of birds, the Eyrie and the Corvid Conspiracy, and the Lizard Cult was the 5th. It was a fairly slow start to the game. I thought it was going to end up taking all of game night. And then I, as the Duchy, made a big move and scored a bunch of points, and then just kept scoring points pretty consistently. And nobody else was really in a position to stop me at that point. The Eyrie had just had a major turmoil right before I went in on my big points. And So they weren't in a position to do much. And then the cats had been pretty steadily just getting beat the whole game.
Sounds like a cat strategy.
Yep, sounds like the cats. I was really surprised. Second place went to Lizard Cult. They were doing shockingly well, at least compared to how I usually play Lizard Cult. So
Badly.
correct. But yeah, so I ended up winning. So I continue to do pretty good when I play as the Underground Duchy. I think next time I play, I will try something different. I might try the Corvid Conspiracy, see how they play. But yeah, I continue to like Root. It is a good fucking game, especially with all the expansions and everything. And then after that, I chatted with people for a little bit and then ultimately ended up just playing a 5-player game of Now Boarding. I've talked about that, I think, a bunch on the show. Cooperative plane game of moving passengers around the U.S. It was a bunch of fun, and we won. It was 3 new players. Megan and I taught 3 new players.
Okay.
And they all really liked it and thought it was quite a bit of fun. One of the players was definitely a little bit quieter and more shy, and like, so they struggled a bit at the beginning. Like, everybody did the first turn and was like, okay, all right, are we all done? And they were like, oh, we're going? It's like, oh my God, yes, go. You've got like 10 seconds. You need to do something. But then after that, we just, made sure to include them more in the planning, be like, okay, just so we're clear, these are the things that might work well for you, while trying to avoid, being like, do this on your turn. It's like, here's some things that might be good. You can do whichever of those you think sounds fun.
Yeah, you can do the right ones or you can do the wrong ones. It's up to you.
Yeah. So, no, it was good. I like Now Boarding. It's a lot of fun.
Same here. I wish you'd do an expansion or something for that.
Yeah, I could definitely use an expansion. I don't know what you'd maybe just different maps, new VIPs, new weather. I'd be down for all of those things. So yeah, that's all I played. Just those 2 games. Root took up a substantial amount of time, which, I mean, everybody says 30 minutes a player. And that's definitely at least.
How many people do you have again?
5.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we started about 6. So it went to about 8:30 and then got in a game of Now Boarding, and then I was about to see if somebody wanted to play something else, but Megan was giving me I am very much done, because she didn't play anything the whole time I played. She just kind of hung out.
Oh, gotcha.
She was not feeling games that day, so.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that's what I played. Jeff, did you play anything at game night? Did you go to game night?
I played Blood Bowl.
That's right. You were playing over in the corner.
Yeah.
So we'll come back to that. You didn't play anything else at game night?
I watched people play Cribbage for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
That'll happen.
That's kind of like a game.
Kind of.
I don't think I did. Played Blood Bowl, and maybe that was it.
Well, Zach, anything you want to talk about from game night before I just turn you guys loose together to, tag team?
No, I mean, I played a couple Cribbage games, the ones that he watched, and then played a couple games of Hanabi, and it was funny to just watch someone who hadn't played with the cards in a while continuously misunderstand the clues that you were giving them, even though they were the same style of clue.
Yeah.
Of when a card comes up and you're like, hey, here are these 2 things, one near the end and then the one they just grabbed. You'd be like, hey, that one you just grabbed is important. They're like, oh, you want me to do the other one, right?
You're saving me from discarding this.
Yeah. Though that one that you've had in your hand for so often that I haven't told you anything about, suddenly it's important. But yeah, that was a game night, just those 2. So.
Cool. Right on. Well, then you guys went to the first ever trial run, inaugural, whatever other primary starter set, Mile High Comic Con, MHCC.
Yep. All your favorite comic book artists were there.
The artist alley was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cabin Con is what I meant.
Although the lines were dramatically longer than you would expect.
Patrick Stewart was just sitting in the driveway waiting for people to get signatures.
Yeah.
How fucking bonkers would it be if somewhere down the line we're able to pay the booking fee to get Patrick Stewart to come hang out at MHCC?
It's probably close to 6 figures, I would suspect. Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman.
Mm-hmm.
There was a comic book store in Columbus that I had gotten friendly with the owner of, and he did a little con thing every summer, or for Free Comic Book Day, and he told me how much Kevin Conroy was asking for an appearance fee, and I was like, oh shit. And that's just a fucking voice actor of Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking
Kevin Conroy doesn't get out of bed for less than $25,000.
That tracks.
must be nice.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Speaking of not getting out of bed,
yeah. Tell me and the listeners, since I was not there, tell us about the first ever Mile High Cabin Con.
There we go.
we did it.
We did it.
It was a thing. It happened. No one died.
MHCC : we did it.
Someone got close, but
Yeah, he probably wishes he was dead.
Yeah. This is Mike Jones.
Yeah.
when you know it, when you are in high altitudes and you're drinking a lot of booze and you go into a hot tub for multiple hours at a time,
Like day 3.
day 3, you should probably drink water at some point. Just
Something
That
besides
doesn't track.
something besides whiskey.
yeah.
No. Whiskey diet all the way.
Bathroom whiskey can only get you so far. So.
Yes. That's where they kept the whiskey.
Yeah.
It was in the bathroom. The downstairs bathroom. So we rented 2 houses, the Thunderdome and I don't know, the main house, whatever.
Yeah.
It didn't really have a name. We had 18 people. We split it up between the 2 houses.
It was
everyone
like
would
8 and 10, I think.
Yeah, so everyone would have their own beds, and or bedrooms.
Mhm.
Not all rooms were,
One bed to a
Yeah.
room.
There was one room that had 4 queen beds and a regular 5 queen beds, 4 of which were bunk beds. So
yeah, which was cool.
yeah,
We went for the room that was like the double queens. We were like, oh, that's not bad.
that's not bad. We thought we lucked out.
Except it was the closet to the massive king master bedroom that had a closet with no windows, no ventilation at all, just a door
Just a door.
to the 2 queen bedroom.
Yeah. So in the middle of the night, if Pat was the one that had the king side, but if he wanted to, he could just close the door and just like put a towel underneath and be like, all right, we'll just let them
marinate.
Yeah. I did find a box fan in one of the other bedrooms' closets. The walk-in closet for the other king bedroom was probably bigger than our double queen closet.
Oh God, that can't be legal.
Yeah.
Like in fact, I'm almost certain that's not legal.
Yeah. There's no way to know. So yeah, we did that. We were like, cool. This is our closet that we'll be in for sleeping.
one mattress was super soft and one was super hard.
Yes.
That was not great.
Zach chose first and chose super hard.
Yeah, what I did is I looked at 2 beds and I did not do anything other than look at them. And I was like, huh. And then I went and then
To go play Stockpile.
Yeah,
or
then I was
something.
go play Stockpile or something. And then I tried to go to sleep that night and I was like, oh my God, it feels like I'm sleeping on a brick.
It's like, oh no.
Because the mattress was it felt like about 2 inches big and then just metal slats underneath it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to at some point be like, man, Jeff, does your mattress suck as much as mine? And then I talked to you about it the next day and you're like, man, your mattress is super soft. And I was just like, God damn it. Also, he had the only plug too. That was on his side.
I did have like a multi output that turned any regular wall plug into 3 wall plugs and 2 USB.
Yeah,
so.
those are nice,
Yeah.
but you were too far away for me to use effectively.
Yeah.
So
Here, Jeff, let me drape an extension cord across your face in the middle of the night.
It was like behind.
what
the
I didn't want to do was
headboard.
create a tripwire.
Yeah. So yeah, that was moment 0. The drive up was nice. It's very windy.
Mm-hmm. Did you drive into the storm at all that was going on then?
I don't think so.
Right.
I did see the storm. I did see lightning.
Gotcha.
When I was coming up.
Right when we were going up the pass, which is like 10.5 or 11,000 feet to get to Winter Park.
Yeah.
Right when we were about halfway up, like the storm, like we got out of the storm for a little bit, and then like when we were doing the switchbacks, about halfway up, like we see it start up again, and then lightning that hits about like 2,000 feet below us, and it's like, oh, that never feels good to be like that lightning struck something that was lower down than us. This is, and then and now we're just going up higher, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in a car. You're
Exactly,
fine.
I know.
Being higher than the lightning.
Yeah,
Speaking of getting high,
yeah.
May agrees that was an exciting drive.
Yeah.
the Got to the house, dumped the shit off, dropped off all the beer. We probably had beer to satisfy us for another couple days.
Yeah.
Probably had 5 days worth of beer on, 3 days worth of drinking.
Well, I'm glad to see at least Mike Jones committed to getting 5 days worth of beer or alcohol.
Oh, it was
consumed.
almost entirely whiskey.
Yeah, it was.
There was exactly 3 days worth of whiskey, it seemed.
Yeah.
And it was.
Yeah, so he went hard. The rest of you beer drinkers did not step up.
Yeah.
We also brought a shitload of LaCroix, and that all got drank because we made a decision of, we've been drinking for a while. We need to drink water.
The only thing I did when I first got there is I just was like so thirsty.
Yes, yeah.
And I was just drinking water and Dr. Pepper, Diet Dr. Pepper.
Mm-hmm.
And there were still 2 Diet Dr. Peppers left at the end.
Yeah.
It was nice. Bought a lot of snacks. Most of the snacks got eaten. We had a very vaguely correct amount of snackage, which was nice. We went out for pizza one day, the first night. The only other Colorado-style pizza place that Rick had been like, this is not a real style because no one else does it. You can't just say you do a thing.
Yeah.
But apparently there's now more than one.
So he unprompted. He started on this tirade on the drive up. And it was talking about Bojos specifically. And when we went to, it's called Fernando's, right? Or Hernando? Hernando's, okay. Well, so we went there, and they were talking about their pizza, and it was talking about the rolled crust and the
table honey for
the table. Like there was table honey on there, and it was whole wheat crust and stuff like that. And he was just like, "Oh God, is this the same thing as that?" Because he had been talking like. And he was like, he's gonna have to eat his words if like he found another place that did it, and then like they brought it out, and he's just like, oh, this is the same fucking thing. And then he even asked the waitress about it, and she was just like, yeah, no, there's not that many people do it. The only ones I can think of in my mind, or I can think of, is Bojos. Like just name checking the place was just, wow, it was just beautiful. But that place was good. Had some good
solid pizza.
Nice.
Yep. But then maybe we should actually talk about at least some of the games that we did. No? Okay.
People only want to care about the activities we had. So I showed up. You guys were playing Stockpile.
Yes.
There was another game being played that was, I don't know, I have a picture of it. Chess. Lots of chess was being played.
Yeah, I saw that in one of like the first day's drops of pictures on the Slack channel that was like, oh, Paul is playing chess.
Yeah, Thursby Tom Photos, and Paul were kind of all playing chess all week.
There is a chess channel in the Slack.
Oh.
There is.
I can only assume that doesn't get used.
Yes, it is. I've seen more places on there, but for the Colorado pizza, it's not just those 2, but those.
I've never heard of it. I don't think I've ever actually had Bojos.
I hadn't
either. But it was good.
Yeah.
So how'd your Stockpile go?
It was good. We played with 5 people. 2 of them were new. So we played with Bonds, but then we didn't play with like any of the other. So this was stuff past that.
This was Mike Jones, Pat, Kaiser, and Eric.
Correct. Yes.
Sounds like a fun group.
Yeah.
Eric destroyed everyone, I think. Is that correct?
I think he did pretty good. I know I didn't do well in that one. I remember. Yeah, how it ended was the only chance I had was I had what was it? I had a stock boom in a spot where there was also a bottom line bank, which I knew nobody else had because it recently had gone bankrupt. And and I knew from my insider information that it was going to go up 4. And I was like, oh shit, I can get this, have it split, and then get me an extra $10,000. And then it'll, and then having the only one, assuming the only one out there, so that's going to give me like an extra $32,000, somewhere around there, amongst other stuff. And I had actually like straight out just bid 15,000 for it, which was all the money I had. And Eric had like, everybody else I could beat with that bid, but Eric had like 40,000 on him. So it was like, if he wanted it, he was going to take it. And so I bid it for the 15,000, at least being like, well, if he's going to take it, then
he's going to pay.
He's going to at least pay $20,000 for it. And I bid that, and he decided to go somewhere else. And I was wise warned too, so I was like able to see everything that was in all these piles. And so he went to the pile that I had looked at, but then I didn't choose. And then near the end of it, I'll tell you this: that match was, if somebody was Moneymaker Mitt, who was every time they bid, they get $1,000, they would have made so much goddamn money. Like the first round, everybody except for like the first person or the last person paid like 6 to 10 or 10 to 15,000 for shit, because everybody just kept nickel and diming to bid out. And I was like, Jesus Christ, what is going on here? But on that final one, he had bid somewhere, and then nobody else touched him. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, thank God he's not gonna come over here, and I'm gonna be able to get this stuff. And then Pat just decided to be like, I'm just going to outbid Eric on this one over here. And then that let Eric be free to then go over to mine and bid it. And I was just like, God damn it. And that 100% handed him the win to get that extra 30,000.
Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was fun. It was
cool.
a good one. Yeah.
A lot of Spirit Island got played over the weekend. I think there was
really? I didn't see any photos of
there was,
that.
I know there was at least
I
a
didn't
6
play
player.
in any of them,
Yeah.
so I didn't
Fair
take.
enough.
Yeah,
There was at least one 6-player game of it.
yeah.
no shit.
There was another like 4 or 5 player. There, I think there was multiple days of big games. Spirit Island. I think it was over at the Dome House, the Thunder Dome.
Yep.
That house. I've heard it called.
which was a drivable distance, but not a very good,
Not a walkable,
like
yeah.
a 25 minutes, but then it's like 25 minutes downhill. But then if you want to go back, it's 25 minutes uphill.
But then also if it's like at night, it's like 25 walking in the dark.
Yeah.
And you're just like, ah.
I only saw one coyote. As
Were you in
wildlife
Dad
goes.
House?
No.
No.
Just going back and forth from the other house.
I think it was coming back from dinner one night. And I was like, oh, coyote.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That was in Thursby's, right?
Yeah,
Thursday card,
yeah. Coming back from pizza, I think.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first things we played, Paul drilled some little holes in his end of a couple
Crokinole? Or not Crokinole.
pitch car.
Pitch car.
Yes.
He
and
drilled more holes in Crokinole.
Yeah. So we played a little game of pitch car golf.
Yeah.
With a board that was sort of like, this will be fine. It wasn't fine. It took forever. There were 7 players, and it was
Way too many.
Yeah, it was like 45 minutes. No one could remember what fucking order they were. There was, and normally you play golf where like whoever's the furthest and back shoots.
Yeah.
and
You can't
shoots,
do that. Yeah.
and you can't really do that for this, especially with the like choke point he put in the middle. And yeah, it just took forever and ever and ever and ever.
I don't know. Like when I play mini golf, though, I often do like closest shoots, like just to knock them down and get them out of the way of the people behind.
Yeah,
Like that might have been a good way to do that.
Really, there could have been a lot better ways to do that. So that never came back out the rest of the weekend. Even though all of pitch cart was there, it did not get played again. After that, I don't really remember what I did for the rest of that night.
Well, that was we had a little bit of a 4 beer drink thing, like vertical thing for Ant, right?
Yeah. It was the brewery, and he had like the anniversary. So like the 2010, the 2011, and the 2012, which were like blended with 25% of the previous year's beer. So there was always kind of like new beer, but it always still had a little bit of last year's, which had a little bit of the years previous to that. I'm sure there's a word for what that is, but they all ran about 14.5 to 15.5% alcohol.
Damn.
They were pretty tasty.
They were very tasty. Later on in the week, we had like a 12 bottle vertical of the 12 days of Christmas.
12 days of Christmas, yeah.
That was like a 12-year series that they had done from start to finish. And I think the last one came out like last year or the year before. So he opened up, one of each of those. Some were a little more miss than hit, but none were.
Yeah.
I didn't think any were awful.
I thought there was one that was awful.
Yeah.
But there were some that were real good in there too.
Yes. Some that were very, very good.
Yeah.
Red 7 made it to the table, which is some weird number.
Oh yeah. I played that
game.
one. That one was interesting.
Yeah.
So in it, on like it's one of those games. We played it with 5 people, only though you're supposed to play with 4, but it worked out well enough. On your turn, you basically have to be winning at the end of your turn, or you're out of the game. And you have a tableau of cards in front of you. You start with just 1, but then you can play more from there. And on your turn, you can either play play a card in there to become, or you can play a card in your tableau, or you can play a new rule by discarding it. And so the rules are like if you have the highest number, or the most amount of lowest numbers, or like the most of one color, the most of one number. There's 7 different suits. There are 7 different rules. And then each of like the suits have a corresponding Trump style of greens beat blues, but then orange beats those, but and yellow beats that, but then red is the highest trump in that regard. And so you just on your turn you have to play 1 card on your tableau. Well, you have to play either 1 card on your tableau, discard 1 card to make a new rule, or both. Sure. And then you have to be winning by the end of your turn, or you are out. You're you're eliminated. There we go. And so you just go around, keep doing that until at some point you can't win anymore, and then one person actually wins. So it was a short, 10-15 minute game, but it was pretty clever. I liked it.
Cool.
What else did you play?
We did Micro Macro. Did a little bit of that.
Yeah, I brought that.
That one was cool. I think it was the 3rd or 4th scenario that Ant brought, or I guess Julie was the moderator at that point for that one, to just sort of read stuff, and have it go along. That one was real counterintuitive on how you had to complete one of the questions of because we're trying to figure out, follow this guy along his path, how he got from here to there, and then what is the thing of interest at this point. But it was basically the point was in the center, the person was going over on the right, but you had to start looking for shit on the left in order to actually track where he went. And it was really, it took us longer to do that than I would have liked.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that one giving us trouble too.
But it was pretty cool. I liked it. It's it's Where's Waldo. There's a lot of murder on that board, and people getting beat up and shit.
Yeah, some bad shit going down.
Yeah, but it also has time in it, so you can actually trace a person's path into where they're going. Because the first one is about intro ones, a guy wearing a hat, and then at some point he loses the hat, and you have to be where did he lose it and why, and where are the people that took the hat now, sort of thing. Someone
beat the shit out of him for his fucking hat, and now he's dead.
Jesus.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. That was pretty clever. I definitely, it's sort of annoying to have on a table, and I think it would definitely work as something that was pinned up on the wall, or taped up on the wall, and so people can go around and look at, because it was when we were sitting at a table, it was if it was over by you, Adrian, it'd be all right, well, I hope you can find it, because I can't see shit from over here.
It's very tiny.
It's very tiny.
Yeah. Anything else?
That was it. That was pretty much it for
day one.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other games were being played, at the various spots as well. But
yep. 3 Crokinole boards were brought, so that was played at various times.
There was a whole tournament that was.
Oh my god.
The final is still not complete. Chris Evans is a double elimination. Chris Evans is undefeated. And Paul is defeated once. So if Paul defeats Chris Evans twice, he would be the champion. Or Chris Evans just has to beat Paul once.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But that has not come to fruition.
Gotcha. We already talked about chess.
There was so much chess.
Yep.
And I think some people got timed out on chess on multiple occasions, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would definitely have gotten timed out on chess. Despite the fact I've been playing chess as long as I can remember, I'm not very good at it.
Yeah. I kept handing my phone to Thursby to play really bad chess, which is the random pieces that you get per game. And he found that very interesting.
Yeah.
I think he had gotten eliminated for something, and I was like, here, play this. And he's like, ooh, really bad chess. Well, let's just move on to day 2.
Yep.
Friday.
Good old Friday.
Friday.
Yep.
We played Twilight Imperium,
We-
4th edition.
We had blocked out 12 hours for the game.
Yes.
We were going to start at 8 and then finish at 8
Yep. AM to PM.
a.m. to p.m.
One of those things happened.
Yes, actually it did.
Actually, even better than that. But
Yes.
we
started at 10.
we
started the timer at 10.
started timer at 10:20 is when we actually started.
Started actually first turn.
We got to the Thunderdome at 9:15, and
Yep.
then classic Paul. We had to punch and
Oh
unbox
my
the expansion.
God. Okay.
The expansion.
I was like, haven't we played
Yeah.
Paul's copy of this?
Yes.
But we did the draft the previous night for our races.
So we knew what we were playing
Yeah.
at least. But like all the expansion stuff needed to be divided up between all the different races because the agents, heroes, commanders.
Wow.
The mech cards, certain racial texts. I think depended if you were playing an expansion race or not. You had to get that out of the cards.
Yep.
And then like the reprint, misprint, exchange changes. All the cards of the expansion needed to be shuffled in. So we started up about 10:20. I was the L1 Z1 X
Yes.
MindNet.
Yeah, so it's basically their robot versions of the Lazak.
Yeah, they were the last of the original rulers that flew off into the galaxy somewhere and then turned to technology to survive. And
Yeah.
now they're basically the Borg.
Yep.
And really good at dreadnoughts.
I was the Sardak Nor, who are the bug people, and they are really good at ground forces, ground combat, and just holding planets.
Their whole ability is +1 to all combat.
Yes, so I'm really good at combat in general.
Yeah.
Which doing a little bit of research, and from what we played, I definitely would play them differently because you want to take advantage of that +1 as much as you can.
Yeah.
So you don't care about it like a dreadnought that can hit at a 4 instead of a 5. Is you care more about like 6 fighters that are hitting at 7s instead of 8s or something like that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, spam low level
Yeah,
things
exactly.
that
yeah,
And mine was get out your dreadnoughts, put them into level 2 super dreadnoughts, murder, keep murdering.
Yep.
Just nope, don't stop murdering. You need to murder more. Because their whole thing is with the flagship, any shots you take with the flagship and the dreadnoughts in that combat have to go to non-fighter ships. So they can just blast all the big ships right out of the sky. Capacity goes away. All the fighters go away.
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Paul was the new gravity rift, dimensional tear,
Something
kaiju
Yeah,
people.
the kaiju, space kaiju, but there's
Yeah.
something Cabal.
Yeah, they're the ones that like kidnap ships and then can use the resource value of that.
To either research the ship or make the ship.
Interesting.
So, like, if he defeats a war sun and captures it, then he can get a war sun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or the tech
or
for
the
war
tech
zone.
for it if he doesn't have it.
Interesting.
Boyd was the gene sorcerers,
Macan gene sorcerers,
Yeah.
or something similar to that. Yeah,
which he wasn't playing them how they were supposed to be played, I don't think, or wasn't super. It seems super complicated for all the different races. Like you have to fight, and then you have to win, and then you get like one of their tokens, and it goes onto your fleet capacity, and that will give you advantages against pretty much anything, depending on how many other people's fleet capacity tokens you have. And then you don't have to use your own for fleet capacity, and you can spend them. But
you can spend them to follow stuff without like losing your own tokens and stuff like that.
So
It
like
seems-
free follows and things like
Yeah.
that. But like the core of like fighting and winning combat was not something that he was able to do because I immediately ran him the fuck over.
Yeah.
As was predicted.
Mhm.
Well, it helped that you and Paul were basically like, "We good? Yeah, we good." And then he's like, "Aha, boy."
But I did not go as hard as I did on Zach on that tabletop simulator one. I did spare his homeworld, mostly because I didn't actually have any scoring objectives to like need to totally fuck him. but I should have fucked his other planets because I didn't score very much the whole game.
No.
And I needed some of his planets to be like, okay, now I have 4 of one kind of exploration to planet type. Now I have 3 tech types.
Our map was 8. It was an 8-player map, but they had a lot of like hyperlanes, and really what it was.
What are the hyperlanes? I can see them in the picture of the map.
It's basically it connects 2 tiles that aren't adjacent to each other. So,
but you cannot cross it any other way.
Yeah, you have to follow its path.
So you can't sit in it.
No.
And you can't move through it if it's not those specific directions.
Okay. Realistically, it's not an actual space.
Yeah.
It's just lines that show you if you're in this tile, you can move to this tile for one.
Well, because I know it's like sometimes they split. So it's like this side is actually adjacent to both of these other ones.
Yes.
Like Mechatol would be adjacent to like 3 other tiles.
And so what happened was that we basically had a 5 to 6 player map that was artificially stretched so that 8 people could play on it. And so
very close.
The expansion adds a lot more objectives about owning planets and combat and stuff like that, and it made
thankfully we didn't get any of the objectives that were like have more planets than your neighbor, both your neighbors, or by a certain amount or something like that.
But like the first one was like have a planet with 3, like have 3 planets with tech specialties, or have 4 planets of the same type, so like industrial, hazardous, etc. And it was like real, like it took me, I was able to get that because at least 2 of the planets I found gained tech specialties because of it, like because of the exploration.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, thank God, I can actually do these.
Totally.
Well, and then it also involved basically cutting off Ryan's, who was next to me. He was the Embers of Muat.
The War Sun people.
Yeah. I had to basically cut him off in order for me to get like that last planet that I needed. And thankfully, he moved his ships right before I went, so that he moved them. And I was like, oh, thank God, I don't have to worry about him attacking me now, so I can go in here and take it. And then Thursby came over and destroyed my ships, but then he got fucked trying to do ground forces with me. So, especially because, once again, I think every time I've played the expansion, I've held Hope's End, which is a legendary planet, which is you get a free mech or draw an action card, and it's fucking amazing. And especially for the Sardak Nor, having those out were pretty powerful.
What was your mech special ability?
Whenever I sustained damage with them, I would produce 1 hit for the...
so take a damage, produce a hit.
Yes.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and then near the end, I didn't get to use them effectively, unfortunately, but I had like Durium armor, and what it does is that if you have an enemy... or if one of your pieces does not take damage that turn and it had sustained damage previously, it's healed. So if I had like 4 mechs in a place, I could just keep fucking like balancing that around and just take in every time they sustain damage, produce another hit. So it'd have been ridiculous to try and
the only thing
like a bug, it'd be really hard to get me out of a place.
The only thing that probably would have worked is my race.
Yes. Oh God, that would have sucked so much.
So the commander's ability is ignore planetary shield, so you can bombard no matter what. And then their racial ability is normally you bombard, ground evasion, ground combat, repeat, just ground combat. But theirs is after every ground combat round, bombard again.
So in that case, it would have just been I would have
kill
just
it with fire.
Yeah, I would have just
bombard, ground combat, and before you commit ground forces, their mech special ability is bombard. So any mechs you have also bombard along with the dreadnoughts.
Yeah, damn. So it seems like it would have just been try and kill your guys as soon as possible in order to, because if you don't have any more ground combat, then the ground forces you can't do any more bombardment. But that'd be like if you're like, hey, here's fucking 6 fighters, it'd be like, or 6 infantry. It's like, fuck, this is gonna suck.
Yeah. And especially because anytime I would activate a system, you can just with your agent can replace a ground force with a mech.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
My commander ability was during the commit ground forces step, I could pull 1 ground force from any system that is adjacent, or like any planet that's in that system, or any planet that's in an adjacent system that has my figures but doesn't have a token on it. I can just pull ground forces to me, so I could just have 1 dude there, but it's surrounded by like 5 planets, and then all of a sudden there could be fucking 6 dudes there. So Glad to see that you are alive, Mike Jones.
Mike Jones is in the chat. I texted him yesterday. I was like, "You all right?"
Yeah.
It's like, after a 3-hour nap, I am.
That's good.
So what was Pat's race?
He was not Clans of Star. No, he had. I can't remember.
I can't either.
Thursby was the University.
Barony.
Barony, thank you. Barony led him.
Thursby.
Yeah, the vampires.
Space vampires.
Yep.
Okay.
Thursby was the nerds, space nerds. Universities of Jolnar.
Jolnar, yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, the game went on, and I didn't score any objectives. And Tom Photos was the Turtles, and he got Mechatol early, and then everyone shit on him real hard, and that was about it for him.
Yep.
And he just sort of retreated back to like 4 systems. He wanted to go park his flagship in a nebula right next to Thursby's home planet. And Thursby had like 5 PDS shots against a lone flagship, and he had rerolls.
Yeah, he had rerolls,
and he needed 50-50, and he needed 2 50-50s, and I think all 5 of them hit.
Yeah. And then Thursby had a secret objective that was destroy a flagship. And
yeah, great. So he just fed him a flagship for a point.
Yeah.
Which was weird. Unless they planned that out. I don't know why. Unless it was like, give me your flagship and I'll get a point and maybe I'll do something for you.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
But, the thing was that he was completely right.
Completely right.
He then later on went into the same nebula with a force of like a War Sun and then like a couple other ships, and then Thursby just demolished
all
it.
that was left was a damaged War Sun.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Then
we got to use some of our hero abilities, which was nice.
They're once per game abilities
that are super OP, but everybody has pretty OP ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like mine was teleport all of your dreadnoughts and your flagship to any empty space on the board.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's just poof, they're there.
Did you have to activate the system?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I'm not sure I did.
Gotcha. I believe Paul used his first. His was basically like a dimensional vortex. So anything that was adjacent to one of his dimensional tears, ship-wise, had to roll a die. And
on a 1 to 3, he captured it.
And they,
damn.
Yeah.
And you never get it. Like if you ever get the ships back, it goes back to your reinforcements. So it's you've lost them. And he had 15 ships that were around those things. None of them were Jeff's because he told Jeff it was going to happen, and so Jeff fucked off.
And I attacked Boyd instead.
Yeah, attacked Boyd instead. But he only had 2 successful rolls on that.
Oh my god.
2 of 15.
Although the first roll was a success, and it was a War Sun that Pat built.
Just the very previous action.
And he was like, I finally got a War Sun out, and then
Paul was like,
well, that's
yoink.
unfortunate timing. And then got it. And then he didn't get any of mine, which I was building a force right next to Mechatol Rex, and so he was disappointed that he didn't kill any of mine, and I was very happy. Out of all those ships, I only cared about the carrier that I had built there,
because it's just a 1, 2, 3 on the carrier.
Yeah.
And it's gone.
Yeah.
And then poof goes everything that it.
Yeah.
I think he also captures everything that is in that capacity if it can't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
So he would have captured all the ground forces and fighters on top of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think he got one of, it was either Thursby's.
Yeah.
Boyd. No, it was one of Boyd's.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
It
wasn't a flagship, but it was something else.
A carrier.
Or something. Yeah. But then, because my carrier wasn't destroyed, I was able to use my hero ability. The next is because, Tom Photo, when he was on Mechatol Rex, he didn't retreat. He just got cut off. And then Ryan came in with his War Suns, killed him, and then he took Mechatol Rex for a turn, and then decided just to fuck off.
And then just left.
He literally left nothing on there.
No.
He just bounced, and I had already gone. Boyd had already gone. We had already activated the systems that were next to Mechatol. Pat had already gone, so I was just Paul had a straight shot to it.
Because he gets +1 movement for every one of his own gravity rifts he moves through. So as long as there's a line of gravity rifts, he has practically unlimited movement. So for 1 movement, he can just move from his home system to to Mechatol, which he did, and was just like, guess this is mine now.
Yeah. So he took it, and it was he had a bunch of PDSs near him that it was going to be like, okay, this is gonna suck to try and take. But my hero ability is I can send ships to activate a system. Like I activate a system, I send ships in, and then I can use my hero ability to immediately skip everything and go down to commit ground forces. So that means there's no ship combat, there's no PDS shots, there's not even a bombardment or anything like that. It's just
there's only a PDS against ground forces as they land. That's it.
Yeah, and then my ships are destroyed. Right, so it basically
It's a one-way.
It's a one-way. It's a suicide mission for the flight, just to drop some guys and just do ground combat. And so
he did not have enough ground forces.
Niche. Like you wouldn't want to do that very often.
No,
Well, and you can only do it once per game.
You can only do it once per game because any hero ability, once you use it, you have to purge the card. But no, that would be you'd want to use that for making someone not be able to take Mechatol Rex, or not have Mechatol Rex. Do it against someone's home system
that might have a big fleet, but not anything on the ground.
And then exactly, paratroopers. Yes,
paratroopers.
But I was able to take Mechatol Rex from him, and also when you take that, you also destroy the space dock because he had just built a space dock there, and I was like, I'm not going to let him start building shit there. And I also destroyed his PDS that was on there too. It was going to be easy enough for him to come in the next time and try and bombard and like take it from it. I was like, I need to hold this, and then because an objective came up that was like, you need to have 4 planets. Once again, have to hold fucking planets, but it was like anomalies, legendary planets, or Mechatol Rex, and it was just like,
yeah,
oh my god, it was so hard. And I was gonna be able to do it, but then I got distracted by something else, and then I didn't end up. I held Mechatol, but I didn't. I just needed to move a ship into an anomaly, into asteroid fields, and just that was empty. But I instead went and I fought in Pat's home system to get a secret objective in my hand, which shouldn't have done that, but it was fine. But that was cool. And then Tom used his hero ability, which was basically draw 5 laws, do 2 of them, and he's the only one that gets to vote on them.
Yep. He's just like, draw 5, choose 2, whatever on those that you want to happen happens.
Okay.
One of which was he just drew a secret objective.
Yeah.
And the other one fucked a lot of people. It was destroy all but 2 dreadnoughts. It was like cutting military spending or something like that. So like I had all my dreadnoughts out and it was like destroy all but 2 dreadnoughts
and all but 3 or 4 cruisers.
Yeah.
And so it hurt Jeff, Paul, and I dramatically.
Yes.
By having because I had all my dreadnoughts out. You had all of yours.
Yeah.
I had a couple.
My next action, I was able to just rebuild all of them, but now they were like they were super out of position. They were just back near my home, but not like right on this planetary area that I had just fucked Boyd big time with. Yep. So yeah. And then Paul won.
Yeah.
Damn it. I was like, it seems like Paul won.
Yeah, because there wasn't much we could do.
There was 100% something that Ryan could do, but he just didn't realize that because he was sitting on Malice.
He could have gone through the wormhole straight into Paul's
home system.
Because he was on Malice. But the tray for all of the ships was literally right in front of Malice, and he didn't even see it behind. So he didn't even know he had it. Yeah. He had totally forgotten about it.
Yeah. And Jeff and Pat, Paul's neighbors, Paul convinced them to give their ceasefires to him. So they couldn't even engage, because Jeff was like, I could go attack him and then immediately have to do the ceasefire and not do anything.
Yep.
So instead, he went and attacked Ryan for his mistake.
So yeah, I wiped out Malice. I had Assault Cannon, which is if you have 3 or more capital ships, when you jump into a system, they have to immediately destroy 1 non-fighter ship. No rolls, nothing. It's just immediately destroyed. The only thing in that system was a War Sun. So he just immediately disintegrated his War Sun and Malice. He got 2 shots with the fighters that immediately were then annihilated because there was no capacity.
Yep.
I think he had a space dock there.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't. No, he didn't build anything there. He just took it, and then that was it. He then promptly forgot about it.
Yes, and then I committed ground forces, bombarded, committed ground forces, bombarded, fought, and just wiped them out.
Yep.
Because there was like 3 dreadnoughts, just fucking puking down 4s. And I think I even forgot to roll plasma scoring. I should have rolled 1 extra die each of those times for bombardment for 4 plus bombardments.
But yeah. It ended.
I assimilated a bunch of Boyd's stuff.
You did.
Multiple PDS and space docks. And that's the nice part about the L1Z1X MineNet is when you take over an area, you just replace PDS and space docks with your own. You don't have to spend any construction primary to rebuild.
So one of our objectives was get 4 structures out, and he's like, well, I've already got that.
Yep.
Thanks, Boyd.
I think I've got 5.
Yep. But yeah, Paul won. Thursby got second as the Jolnar, which is surprising.
I'm so disappointed in all
he
of
had
you.
3 secret objectives that he was able to score, and he could have gotten a 4th one.
Yeah, he had something that let him get a 4th secret objective as well.
Yeah. And then
it was an artifact, a relic or whatever.
Yeah. And then I was tied with third with 2 other people. I think it was Pat and Ryan.
Yeah.
And then Ryan was 5th. He was 6th, so he was behind us. So it was probably Boyd. Boyd.
I was last.
You were
Boyd
last.
was ahead of me.
Yeah.
And then Boyd was like, I'll take last. You let me stay in the game and play instead of wiping me out.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I kind of did.
Yes.
At the detriment to my own game, where I probably would have scored a lot more by just having all of his shit. So yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, Boyd, making units is very important in that game. I definitely had moments where I was getting little flashes of what happened with Jeff destroying my things. So any space I had that someone could get to any of my shit, I always had at least one figure there forever. Just
something in space.
Something in space to just be like, you can't get here without me realizing it.
Yeah. In my last turn, I ended up, the last tech we did, I ended up getting the one that lets you move through
light wave.
And the anti-mass grab, so everything was +1 movement. So I was like, I can kind of do whatever I want now.
Yep.
But little did I know that was the last round.
Womp womp.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, and it only took 9 hours, which was surprising.
We ended at like 7:00.
Yeah. And that's with a sloppy Joe break.
Oh man.
We had a lunch break on top of that.
Yep.
I feel like I was there for the whole thing at this point.
But yeah, it was way faster than our even the last 6-player we played.
Yeah, even with Ryan, one of Ryan's turn taking about as long as we've been talking.
Yeah, it was good. I don't think I'll need to play 8 players unless it's on like a vastly different map, like a much bigger map.
Yeah.
But what was the reason you chose that particular map?
It would fit on the table.
It would fit on the table because the table,
because it was a 9x7. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the 9 could only fit one way, and the 7 squished it down just enough. And still, even then, Pat and Tom Photos basically had tiles on their player boards.
Yeah. Because it was a nice and long table, but it was about normal table width.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Ryan described it as 1 tube width. And I was like, what? And he's like, the tube I had, it was that wide. I was like, this means fucking nothing to me. Because
what tube is he talking about?
A tube for holding his route maps.
Yeah. Like those
like those cardboard tubes for holding things.
Yeah, it was that length.
It was that length.
Mm-hmm.
The custom length one. It was that custom length.
Yeah. I would play Twilight Imperium again. It continues to be a fun game.
Yeah. How did you feel about the hyperlanes? I like
they were interesting, but I think they'd be more interesting on an actual bigger 8-player map where you would have to deal with them slightly less everywhere.
I did not care for them.
Yeah, I see that.
Because they cut off certain directions on the map.
I liked I did like how they cut off certain directions. It was like you knew that this space only could go to this space. So I had a couple tiles that were adjacent to Ryan's War Sons that I knew was like he could only get through this anomaly that he has to like park at first. He can't go around any other way without getting distracted by other stuff. So I liked how it wasn't just you could just go through them whichever way you want, that you had to go a specific path.
It would be nice if there was more other spaces too, though.
Yes, no. I said, I think it was
like
a smaller map that it was made big enough
one of
just
the objectives
for us to fit on the corners.
One of the objectives was be in 4 empty spaces. Like
no, it was only 3 empty spaces.
3 empty spaces. And I was like, I have 1, 2, and the other one's fucking 4 spaces away. Like there was not enough for that objective.
Yeah.
In practicality.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
There we go.
Yeah.
So that was Friday.
We did, we played a couple games. I played some cribbage after that. That was a lot of fun.
I don't think I even played anything after that. Thursby and I were both like, I don't even want to fucking do anything after that.
That's why I was just like cribbage, like because cribbage you can just shit around and talk.
Sure.
No. Paul, I was playing against Kaiser and Paul with me and Mike Jones, and they in one hand because they had the crib, they scored 49 points.
Shit.
And they still lost.
What?
It was amazing. That we had exactly they were at like 119 and I had exactly enough. I had pegged enough points that I was within 12 of finishing, and it was real funny.
Some Battlestar Galactica was played. The humans lost. It was like a 5-player game. Paul,
the Cylon did get tossed, though. I heard.
No, Tom Photos got tossed.
Oh, I assumed he was the Cylon.
No, he wasn't. He was actually a human, and he was like, "I'll prove I'm a human. I'll go into the airlock," and they're like, "Thanks, burp," out into space. he had made a flub in talking about his cards, and he's like, "Well," he had asked a question about the Cylon cards. And they're like, "No, your roll cards." And he was like, "Oh, yeah, is that what they're called?" And people thought that he had a Cylon card that told you whether you were human or Cylon. And he called it a Cylon card. So everyone was like, "Uh-oh." And he's like, "I'm not. I'll go in the airlock." "Cool, thanks." Gone. And they're like, "Nope, dead human."
Was it Ant or Paul that hit that button?
I think it was Julie, actually.
Okay,
I think.
Because Ant and Paul were the Cylons in that. So
yeah. And then once the Cylon halfway mark cards came out, Paul was like, Julie's dead, morale down, boop. Now they killed Julie off, and then it was just a fucking massacre from there. There was no chance, I think. I played Cryo again, which is a fun worker placement game. Played that one with Mike Jones, Pat, and John. They liked it because of how, because it's about a crash colony ship and everyone's desperate to try and get underground before the sun sets because then you'll freeze to death. The theme of having limited resources kind of comes through because no one can do everything they want, and it feels super tight. And they all liked the multi-use cards because every card has 4 different uses for it.
Yeah.
Which thins down on components significantly, which is nice. Mike Jones came up later and was like, I really liked that. It's super middle of the road, but it's in a good way. In a good way.
Yeah, I'd like to try it sometime.
Same.
Yeah, it's not long either. And you build your own engine however you want to build it, because you can put the resource tiles on your platform in what order that you want to pay and what you want to get. So it's very open with whatever you want to do.
Cool.
Yeah. Cryo. I think that was the last game I played. Cryo. Pretty sure.
The last real game that I played was with Boyd and John and Chris Evans, and that was Kanban.
EV,
the fancier or the new one.
Motherfucker.
John didn't care about us enough to pay $80 for the ugly metal cars.
Were they die cast cards or some cars or some
I
shit?
remember seeing the couple pictures, and especially the
they weren't
economy
even
one.
very
It was
good.
ugh, yeah.
No, they sucked.
Yeah.
Is that why there was the kind of colored meeple car looking things?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was one shiny one on
There was one that was the pace car, and that was a Kickstarter special, I would guess.
Gotcha.
Because it came with the wooden one as well. But this one, a Vito Lacerda game about
I had
making
walked
cars.
by a couple times, and it was completely incomprehensible what the fuck they were
Sounds
doing.
about right.
It's just a zillion components on the board.
The teach took a while, but it's definitely one of those games that, like, once everything was taught to you, like, oh, okay, this all makes sense how it all links together, right? Because you're producing cars, you're getting car designs, you're buying the cars, and then you're upgrading them, testing
and then you
them
had
out.
your own player boards in front of you with it that had its own modular stuff on there.
Yep, and then you had Mean Sandra, right? Yeah, her name's her name, Sandra, walking around just fucking crushing you.
You're not doing good enough.
Yeah,
Lose points.
Yeah. First round of the game. Oh, you don't have 3 cars already? You fucking suck.
Lose points, nerd.
Yeah. Oh, you don't have any bank time because you started today? Also lose fucking 5 points.
Yep.
And I have to say, let's see. I was able to get a good lead in the beginning because I was able to have 2 black cars built, and we had and people upgraded, like, we had 4 upgrades on them. And so it was like the first meeting for scoring cars. Everyone was like, oh, I've got like 1, maybe 2 or 3 points. And I was like, well, I've got 9 just from the black cars that I have built.
Nice.
Yeah. And at the end, both Chris Evans and I thought it was going to end a turn earlier than it did. And so, like, I spent a turn buying a car and, like, wasting time, but only buying a single car when I should have been getting more designs, because that would have helped me buy an additional car on the next turn. And so my last turn, I just was like, well, I guess I'll just go and train to get 5 points instead of 3, right? For becoming the master, whatever the thing's called. And Chris was able to buy a bunch of cars, but because I had I think 3 of the 5, I was the highest trained person. I was able to sneak out a win against him.
Nice.
I 137 to like 138 to like 135.
What did you think overall?
I mean, I would say it's the first one of him that I've liked at the end.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I have it, and I've been really wanting to play.
I would definitely say it's, for me, you know, tied with cohesiveness with like the Gallerists, because that one felt like it, you know, made sense.
Everything, worked
together. But I care more about building electric cars than I do about having a pink gallery.
Fair enough.
I really liked the worker placement aspect of it. I thought that was really cool, and really like how you could plan some of that stuff early on, and how it forced you to plan your later turns of like, oh, I need to get this, but then I'm going to like choose mine later in the turn, and the things I may want may be blocked. But you know, it was nice to have the administrative office on the bottom, even though I never used it once. Like I never, like my piece for training on that was at 0 the entire time on that thing. But I just had 3 certifications. Like one of my goals in my hands for the first meeting was have a certification in this. So I just made sure I had that, and I was close to another one. And I was just like, oh, well, I got 3 now. Now I don't have to worry about whenever she's down there. I don't give a crap if I'm trained in there or not, because I got the 3 certifications. So no, I liked it. Cool. I don't know if I played a lot, but
fair enough.
It was cool.
Might have to get added to the list of potential streams or something then.
Maybe it might be a long game. It took us a while, but it was also the first for 3 of us.
Yeah.
And then Boyd was also there, so you know that adds an extra hour to the game.
At least an extra 20%.
Yeah.
I've played Kanban, and I really like it, and I've been dying to try EV at some point. I just haven't had a chance to.
As incomprehensible as the board looked, once it made sense, then you're like, oh, it all makes sense. But I've heard that like the original one is just garbage.
Yeah,
in terms
it's
of,
not great.
It's not great.
It's not great.
Yeah.
I think I still have it. I can show it to you sometime.
Oh, yeah.
Good old Stronghold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that was Saturday then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I think that was...
Then that was it. Sunday we had to leave early, so we basically
just recovered, cleaned, made sure Mike Jones was conscious.
Yeah.
Barely. He looked fucking rough.
Yes, he did.
Poor fella.
RUFF.
Yeah. They had themselves a hot tub time
Yep.
Saturday night.
Yep. We heard them nice and clear because
It was right below our second floor
windows.
Keeper's bedroom.
Yeah, our
Pat.
keeper's bedroom. Yeah.
We'll see if anything comes out of any rule breakages that they will come at us for, because we were only supposed to have like 5 cars in the driveway. At one point we had like 6.
Yeah.
But like, what the fuck is that rule? I don't know.
I mean, it's probably there to stop there being like a dozen cars in there, but
Yeah, you got to draw the line somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a Crokinole tournament.
Like we said,
you already talked about all that.
Yep.
Tune in earlier, Boyd.
That's basically it for it. It was.
We
had
good,
breakfast.
Good time overall.
Yeah, definitely. It was nice.
It was hard to get anywhere in for breakfast because everywhere doesn't have staff up there. And it's like, well, this huge restaurant can seat about 20% because we don't have staff to do any more than that. Stop by Westbound and Down on the way back.
It's a good place.
They have a solid spot there.
Yeah, they do. I had a Westbound and Down. Oh,
there's one in Lafayette.
Well,
too.
no, so that's what I was drinking when
I think
we did
that's
that
just
Thursday lunch with May and Boyd. I was drinking the Westbound and Down.
Hops and
Pie.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think Lafayette is just a production facility.
Gotcha.
There's no tap room in there as far as I'm aware.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I have to take your word for it.
Yeah. It's probably a lot easier to get beer around Denver if you're not, 45 minutes into the mountains.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Especially during the winter when there's ski traffic and weather.
But it's a super cool restaurant tap room.
Yeah, I dig it. And the restaurant is really good.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called that's attached.
Rick had some sort of tuna salad, tuna sandwich with no bread that looked really good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we've already kind of just smooth transitioned into banter, talking about food and booze and things like that. I don't have a ton of banter on my end because I've just still been painting my basement. I tried to get Jeff to come over today to help me move furniture back down because the painting of the living room portion of the basement is done. And Megan's mom comes tomorrow, and so we were trying to get some furniture back down there, but apparently
I came in hot from work. So.
Yeah, your warehouse crew fucked you.
Yeah, I mean, it was just busy, and there was another guy that was on vacation for a wedding, so they were down me and another guy the whole time too. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Painting's done. Now I just got to get stuff moved back down in there. I haven't talked about D&D in a little while. I'm going to throw that into banter because I did start my DM stuff again. Like, not even Dungeon Delvers, which has been going great. Dungeon Delvers is awesome. I'm loving our characters. But I started DMing that group again after, 14 months.
Megan and
her kayaking friends. We added a new player. So there's now 5 players and me. And that's been going really good. Been fun times. We were supposed to play on Tuesday, but Megan and I forgot her mom flies in at 5:15. So... and then I think the message I just got on my phone was that their baby is sick. So not going to be doing that this Tuesday, but that's been fun. We did it this would have been 3 Tuesdays in a row, which has been nice.
It's probably a record for any D&D group at this point.
Damn near.
Yeah.
But then we're not going to be able to play again until fucking August.
Yeah.
So
a whole year?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. October. Yeah. We're in August.
Quick game banter break.
Yes.
Started Pandemic Legacy Season 0.
Oh.
Got to April. And then we're on also a maybe once a month we could get together for it. I think we have an early October schedule for our next session right now.
For us, Zach, Tuesdays work great for me for a while because the reason we can't do D&D is because Megan works.
Gotcha.
So Tuesdays would work great for me for a while.
Okay.
For getting 0 started.
Yeah.
Other news, I officially got my flight and hotel confirmations. I'm going to Costa Rica to train Costa Rican
replacements
for me and my job.
Yep.
I tried really hard to get a company card out of the deal, and they said, no. But if they send me more than once, I'm definitely going to be like, all right, you said I wasn't going to come down again, and now I'm going a second time. So you've already doubled the amount of times. Give me a corporate card.
Are they just going to reimburse you, or?
So most of it I don't have to pay for. There is a ghost card that like payroll can use.
Ooh, spooky.
Yeah. Like we were going through this whole thing trying to get my hotel confirmation, and the woman was like, well, the only confirmation the hotel specifically sent me has the credit card number on it, and I am not authorized to just send that number out because it's very
Yes. Yeah, no, I get that.
very wild. But looks like my boss is going to be coming with me, which is a little bit weird, but luckily I like my boss, and he speaks very fluent Spanish. So that will be helpful.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And he does have a company card. So
Nice.
so yeah, normally like that was part of the paperwork I had to do today was like the reimbursement portal, because they do reimburse for almost everything that I would spend while I was down there, as long as I don't like go to the casino. And even then, if I did it right, I could be like, well, I went and had dinner. Like the casino I heard had a really great restaurant. That's all of this bill from the casino is just the restaurant.
$1,000, eh?
Well, it's actually itemized.
Yeah.
And it just says roulette over and over and over.
I don't play roulette.
Yeah. It even says your bid on here for some reason, and you always went on double green, 00. That's bad. Like you're just a bad gambler.
It actually says here that you split on sixes at the blackjack table.
Yeah.
Nobody corrected us on that. I really expected somebody who knows blackjack to correct our whole blackjack segment from last week.
That's not going to be me.
But yeah, so I'm going to Costa Rica. Other than that, I've been playing Astroneer again, which is kind of fun.
What's a video game?
Yeah. The reason I've been playing those again is because the studio is the only place I have to really like hang out in my house that isn't like the kitchen table that's covered in shit and the bedroom. So it's like, meh.
Isn't Split 6 the worst thing?
I thought it was really bad.
Maybe this is the correction.
Well, if the dealer's showing a 4, 5, or 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if they're probably pretty low. Because I think that's the risk, is that you split your 6s and then you get like 10s, and you've got 2 16s, and like 16s are that really shit, like you should probably hit, but you're probably going to bust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I haven't seen any movies. I haven't done anything exciting.
I just have been recovering from the weekend. I went by, I did a little tour around the Denver area as I was coming back Sunday. Stopped at Cannonball Creek, had a couple beers, dropped.
Good brewery.
Really, it was a tour of giving away all of the beer people didn't take that I had left over.
Sure.
So it was like, boom, here's 12 beers. Boom, here's 12 beers. So I stopped at Cannonball Creek. Had
They're
a couple,
good. I like them.
Yeah, they're very good. Then I went by. My original plan was to go to D Deli, have a couple beers, go to D Deli, but then I ran out of D Deli time because they closed.
It's a bummer.
That is a bummer.
They always close at like 4 or 5
never
or
been
something
there.
like that. It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to D-Bolt and had their food truck, which was the Naked Neck chicken food truck.
Yeah. They're good. I might have to talk to them because I have a feeling that we're going to have them Wednesday at D-Bolt and then the following Wednesday at Strange.
Yeah, it's just
and I don't want that to constantly be
the food truck.
The food truck.
Yeah.
I would like it to be one of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's at D-Bolt Wednesday, as I was talking to Sopek.
Yeah, and they've been at Strange the last like 3 Wednesdays. So
yeah.
After this week, I might have to be like, could one of you please maybe?
And then I went to Joyride because they had their 4-day anniversary party, which was from the amount of people there was probably 3 days too many, 2 days too many. It was fair. So they have like live music and stuff like that. So they did it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They had the whole street shut down, but it seemed by Sunday it was pretty dead.
I see what you're saying.
The bar was busy, but like the concert and stuff that was going on was very had a Westbound and Down collaboration beer that they had, and then their Odell collaboration. And then I gave them some more beer, and that was about it for my beer giveaway. It was enough to drop off like 2 cases of beer. And then I went home, and then I pretty much went straight to sleep. And that was it for my tour day Sunday.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice.
Zach, any...
I bought a mattress.
Yeah, I almost had to go move it in because you did that for me.
I did.
Because I didn't realize it was a mattress, to be fair, when I asked you.
Yeah.
Like, the
To be fair.
inventory, to be fair, said that it was just pillows.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey, Zach, can you go throw those pillows inside?
Yeah.
You were like, that was a fucking mattress.
Yeah. I ordered the mattress right before I left, like on the Tuesday right before I left, and it was like, oh, it'll ship in 5 to 7 days. And it was FedEx, so I was like, I'm not expecting this to get here until like fucking Wednesday next week. And then they're like, hey, we got you. It's going to come on Saturday, right when you're in fucking Fraser. And I was like, God damn it. And so luckily, Ricky was able to move it into the garage via dolly because the mattress is 127 pounds, apparently.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, yeah, she's not getting that by herself, but she had the dolly to move it. And then I brought it downstairs and unfurled the thing, and it was unwieldy, unsurprisingly.
Is it a king?
Queen.
Okay.
Yeah. But like 14-inch topper sort of thing. It's nice, but I just I remember when I was going to let it like breathe out in the extra bedroom and then bring it in, and I was like, wait, no, this thing's 100. No, I don't need it. This is stupid. I'm not going to try and like, it's a lot easier to lug it around when it's a lot more compact than trying to bring a fucking mattress like around that quarter.
Yeah.
And so I took my old mattress off. I put that one on, and then like I cut it, and then it like it flips out, and then it was the wrong side. It was the underside on top, and I was just like, God damn it! And then I had to drag it off, flip it over there, and I was definitely exhausted by the time that I cut that thing off. So
Time for bed.
yeah, exactly.
Fuck sheets.
Well, I made sure to at least, because you have to let those expand for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And so I made sure to at least give it enough time for that. But I was definitely,
I just laid on the other mattress.
yeah, at like midnight, I was just, because I opened it at around 10:15, and I was just like one of those things, like looking at my, has it been enough time? Because I'm fucking tired. Yeah, that's basically it for me.
Cool. All right. Well, that's banter then.
Yeah.
Not a lot of banter this week. You guys are at a convention, and we already talked about all that. So
Mhm.
I mean, I watched an entire Formula One race, all 2 laps of it.
Dude, where was that?
The Netherlands. It rained so hard that they tried to go out, and they went out for the minimum 2 laps to give them half points and still call it technically a race, because I'm sure a lot of paychecks and a lot of sponsorship fees had to have a race complete that didn't require many hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars, not exchanging hands. But the people that got fucked were definitely the fans that had to wait in the rain for 4+ hours for 2 little laps around the track with behind the safety car, and then they called it.
Did you say Netherlands or Belgium?
Belgium. The next one is the Netherlands.
Okay.
Netherlands is this weekend.
Okay.
Belgium was this last race. Spa.
Cool.
Someone crashed in the formation lap before the race to like get them out of the pits in the order that they will be going onto the grid. He crashed out during that. Then they didn't start the race. They were able to repair his car by the time that those 2 little laps were going to happen. And he technically got out of the race. So the race only started with 19 and then was allowed back in to start from the pit lanes when it started later. So technically there was -1 cars that restarted the race because it was 19 and then they added 1.
Weird.
Yeah, super weird. But you just sat there for hours and hours just watching rain as commentators tried to stretch as long as possible.
Oh, man. Bummer.
Yeah, it sucks for anyone that was there because those tickets are like $500 minimums, like for basically nothing. So the race was called, and basically the qualifying order was who won, and the Williams guy that had never been on a podium before qualified second and got second place.
Good for him.
Yeah, but they only got half points. Not
And you
full points.
also said the worst driver got the fastest lap.
Yep, the guy that has been rock solid 20 out of 20 in one of those formation laps, he must have just had that little millisecond faster and ended up with the fastest lap for the race. But he was still down in like 16th, and you only get a point for it if you're in the top 10. So he didn't get any points for it.
Gotcha.
That would have been fucked had that piece of shit gotten a point off a technicality.
That would have been hilarious.
Well, the guy sucks. He's
All the more reason it would have been funny. It probably wouldn't have affected anything.
well, I mean, it's not that he sucks at race car driving.
he's-
As a
yeah,
person.
yeah.
There's
He's like
he's-
the son of a
He
Russian oligarch.
sucks.
yeah, there's like Instagram posts of him like groping women.
Ugh.
Yeah, he's gross.
All right, I take it back.
Yeah. They're kind of stuck because the only reason that they're able to race is because Daddy Oligarch put him in the seat and is funding the money, so they have to make it, fun social media posts about this dude, and it's like,
Yeah.
ugh.
But he also does suck at driving too.
Yeah. But yeah, it rained for 4 hours, and then they called it,
Gotcha.
and then they did a podium, and they sprayed each other with champagne for their 2 laps.
To get
Really?
to get off some of the water that had been on them. So.
Yes. But I mean, that's why qualifying is important.
Exactly.
That's why Saturday is important. So shit like this can happen. And I'm sure the guy that was in second would have gotten immediately run over and gotten back into like 10th or worse. But he had a very good, he qualified in the wet into second place, which was nuts, was absolutely fucking insane. Because once the commentators were like, the Williams is posting purple sectors on a qualifying lap over Hamilton and Verstappen, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? Purple means you're faster in that sector.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, that was interesting. I'm real glad I didn't wake up early to watch, as Tom Photos wanted to do, and I was like, I kind of want to actually watch the race.
I like in Slack, like Dayton said something about like, so and so podium, and Nick was like, whoa, spoilers. And it was like,
Do not take the time to wait to see this race in full, because there wasn't one. The race highlights they do after every race have been hilarious. It's mostly
Were the highlights just the race?
It was just what the shit they were doing in between, like the hours and hours of waiting, just like the highlights of whatever shit they were doing. One of the drivers went over and was playing like soccer in one of the other garages
Nice.
with like one of the other drivers. And then they couldn't find him when he needed to get like
great.
belted back in. But the social media person found it on social media from the other team and was like, "We found him."
He's over here.
Yep.
Right on. Well, that wraps up Banter, I think.
Yes.
On to Bloody Minute? No? Yes, you played it.
I did play Blood Bowl. I'll keep it short. I was playing against Nurgle. Once again, we don't really have much skills. He had some real good luck on breaking armor because he didn't have any Mighty Blow or anything like that. So this is just straight up die rolls. And Nurgle on the Lizard Men, he ended up casualtying out 2 of my Saurus, 1 of my Skinks. Not ideal. But in the first half, I ended up surfing like 4 dudes. But they all came out into reserves, like 1 knockout, all into reserves. It was like, fucking what? I wish I would have delayed a little more because I had an 11-on-7 advantage just to bash him up a little more. And then I scored on my 5. Probably should have just delayed it out because I would have outnumbered his big dudes with mine, and just kind of tried to bash him. But I ended up just scoring and not delaying. And then he turned around and just bashed the shit out of me.
Bummer.
But it was all just dice. I mean, there's no like, he had 1 big guy that had the Mighty Blow, which I don't think he even did anything all game. But then in the second half I received and I was down like, I think I had full strength, and then I was just immediately pummeled down to like 7 players on 11. I ended up getting like 1 zombie out there. I was up 1-0, and I was just trying to like keep the ball out of his hands as much as possible. I ended up picking the ball up on like a 5+, and then just taking the hit on the skink for him to get it out of my hands, and needed some lucky bounces here and there. And then I got him all the way to like his turn 6, and he went for the score with a double go for it. At this point, we don't have many rerolls, and we were blowing them very fast. I ended up with like 3 triple skulls or three, sorry, 3 double skulls.
I was like, what?
Yeah, triple skulls is extra bad. I ended up with like 3 double skulls I ended up having to re-roll. But the tripwire saved me from a 1-1 tie. He got to go for it into the end zone, tripped, fell over. I was able to get back there and get the ball on my guy that is sprint sure feet, so he can move 8 plus 3 on 2+ with a built-in replo. So he can move up to 11 spaces. And then, of course, he fails the fucking 3+ dodge reroll and falls on the ground. But he wasn't able to get the ball back to the end zone, so I was able to get a 1-0 win,
There you go.
which I was not expecting in any way, shape, or form. And I didn't come out with any like bad damage.
That's good.
It was all just KOs and
Cool.
yeah.
Which game was this overall? 4?
3. I think this was game 3, maybe 4.
Where are you sitting in the standings? Pretty good?
Not great. I have 1 loss, 2 wins. It's a little better now, I guess.
Yeah.
But I still don't have the star player points to give any of my Saurus a skill because it's random MVP now. So you're rolling a D16, and it's just whoever's not dead or a mercenary gets it. So you can't target it between 3 players anymore like you would with the Saurus. And it's also less star player points. It's now only 4 instead of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems dumb.
Yeah, it's some weird change. It's hard to get used to, but the game feels the same. But you're playing with more of your base players, and you're not getting that like little buff of skills to start with because we didn't do a preseason.
Sure.
So you're playing some real base teams with everything being a little more expensive with less rerolls. So you have to really think about where you're spending those rerolls and stuff like that.
Cool.
Yeah, it's the B-Bowels.
That's the Bloody Minute. So that moves us over to some news and Kickstarters.
First up in news. Did you know shipping is really fucked all over the world? Well, it continues to be super fucked in the board game world.
Yeah. So this is a post from back August 16th over on BGG where they were sharing some stuff that Steve Jackson CEO Phil Reed had posted in Illuminator magazine.
You mean Steve Jackson isn't the CEO of Steve Jackson Games?
Indeed not. But it was a post about freight and shipping, and the BGG post is just it's a repost of that article or blog post or whatever. But yeah, they talk about that freight is just bonkers. They also touch on an update from Return to Dark Tower from Restoration Games, where they were talking about their shipping. And they say normally a container for board games costs $5,000. They are currently seeing over $20,000 for containers. And it's just tons of stuff like that. Like they go into the fact like containers are so hard to find right now that they're just buying them as they become available and shipping them one at a time instead of trying to get all of them at once.
And they have increased an MSRP up to $190 for that game now.
Yeah, so Return to Dark Tower, if you didn't back it on the Kickstarter, it is now significantly more expensive.
I think it was, 100, 120 originally, something like that?
Yeah. They also talk about some stuff from Andre Novak with Board and Dice, talking about their shipping costs for, I guess it's not for anything in particular, maybe for Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan. That their container from Shanghai to Oakland went from $2,900 at the end of 2019 to $18,000. And a similar container going to Germany went from $1,600 to $16,000. So same thing. Teotihuacan went from 48 cents US shipping to $3 shipping, knocking $250 off of their roughly $250 off of their profit, which is estimated at about $4 profit per game. So their profits have been cut in half by shipping. So yeah, real rough right now. I don't know. And yeah, just a whole bunch of different stuff like that. And they pulled a bunch of other little blog posts talking about how hard it is to get containers and how much shipping's going up. And just basically right now, it's bad.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot any of us can do about it. Be supportive of publishers and Kickstarter companies that you've backed if they are coming to you and being like, hey, we're delayed because we can't afford shipping right now, or hey, we're going to have to charge a little bit more. Like, it sucks. Like, I get that, but no one could really see this coming, and it's not going to get better for a while. So,
yeah, until they could, I think they mothballed a lot of ships, and now they're, because they're like, man, we don't want to pay for these. Oh shit, now we need them.
Yeah. Well, and then even like, a lot of the rest of the world is still very much, not having access to vaccines like we have here in America. So they're still fighting their own battles with COVID, and
we're still the worst in the world.
We still suck.
Yep.
So yeah, not great all around.
No.
Shipping.
Just even getting empty containers back to China to then refill has been a challenge.
And like, it even goes beyond that. Like, I had forgotten about this because I read this first like 2 weeks ago when we were going to do news, and we skipped it last week. They have a bit here where BGG had tweeted out part of one of those statements about shipping being kind of bonkers, and like even things like lamination. Like they were supposed to receive, it was from the Pactuna, who I'm actually waiting on. Pachacuna, I'm waiting on that Kickstarter. And they were supposed to get 60 tons of gray cardboard from a supplier. On Monday, they got the message that they would get no cardboard from the supplier. And BGG had tweeted that out. And somebody, Benoit Turpin, who's a designer, their factory in Poland was supposed to receive 100,000 dry erase markers that they had ordered, and they got 420. So, like, it's just, everything is a mess right now when it comes to board games. So just be patient and go support your friendly local game store and buy the ones that are on shelves. Help them as much as you can right now.
It's really shitty even in the beer world.
Yeah,
it's a constant fight.
It's not like we are constantly. We have a machine at my job that's been shut down for a month because we can't get parts in. Like, it's every industry is having these issues right now. So like,
all the accounting supply.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys having trouble getting software in? Are you running out of cells on your spreadsheets?
They're rationing out on Excel.
Not importing those in.
Pivot tables are at a premium right now, so
nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really good blog post over on BGG. It's just a couple weeks old, so maybe you've seen it, maybe not. It'll be in the show notes if you want to go read through all of the different statements from various publishers and news, and even the comments get kind of insightful about some of how completely fucked just so much of this is. And they answer some questions about like, well, why can't you just print in North America? And it's like, okay, well, one, it costs a lot more to pay people in North America, so your base costs are way higher, and then we still have to ship to Asia and Europe, and like you're changing where the shipping is starting. It still has to go to all those places.
And Chinese logistics systems are built from the ground up within the past couple decades to be everything close to each other. So it just kind of moves in that chain, and it moves in that chain to the ocean to where it ends, where in America it's like in Detroit and in Arizona and in Seattle, and now all of those little bits have to get shipped all the way across the country.
And there's shipping shortages for truckers here in America.
Yeah.
And then never mind, like one of the other things they go into in this whole post is that like plastic is just, you can't get plastic. Like good luck. Like
fuck plastic.
It comes from China. Like if you have plastic parts in your board game, it's coming from China, and there's nothing you can do about it. So even if you're assembling it in America, you still have to wait and get shipments of supplies and stuff and bits and bobs from all over the world. So yeah, it's a mess. But on to some different, maybe happier news.
Netrunner, you know it, I know it. Wizards of the Coast might know it again with this trademark file.
Indeed. So somebody had noticed that Wizards of the Coast filed a trademark for Netrunner for like some kind
downloadable
of online
electronic
computer games. Or that was the original one. Downloadable electronic games to be used in connection with computers, console gaming development, and wireless devices. And then when somebody posted about that, somebody else went, "Ooh, that's interesting." And they went and looked. They went, "Oh, holy shit!" They actually filed 2 other trademarks. One for role-playing games, board games, trading card games, and collectible toy figures, and one for online computer games and interactive multiplayer online computer games. So they are finally filing some trademarks. Nothing official on like what's coming because of this, but they have like a time frame in which they are supposed to. I think it talked about in here, where they're supposed to do something with it when you file a trademark, like a good faith kind of like, hey, a good faith intention between 6 months and a year of filing, to use those on paperwork. So sometime in the next year, probably, maybe seeing some announcements, maybe like a Netrunner RPG or LCG, or maybe a new MMO, or who knows, stuff like that.
Maybe they'll make Android Netrunner Magic the Gathering set.
Yeah, and some people said like some of that could be just as easy as like throwing a card into something that exists already.
Yeah,
like, oh, here's a Netrunner, made into a D&D 5e setting. Like they've already brought a bunch of magic shit into D&D.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well bring some Netrunner shit. Who knows?
Synergy.
Yeah, but we'll see. But it's still kind of exciting to see Wizards of the Coast, maybe branching out. And I know a lot of people are really excited about more Netrunner shit, no matter what the setting or the system is.
Mm-hmm. It's like when I saw, when I was on Black and Red a while ago, I bought like New Angeles, which is in that set in that same setting, and it's like, oh shit, I didn't realize that was back in stock, and so I bought it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that's it for news. On to a couple quick Kickstarters.
Yes. First one is Everyone Else Thinks This Game Is Awesome by Zach and Kelly Wienersmith of Saturday Morning Breakfast cereal comic fame.
That sounds right.
And many other things. Very well funded, $168,000 of its $30,000 goal. Just about 3,000 backwards. 3 weeks left to pledge this one, which you can for $55. And if there's ever been a game I think is for Kaiser, it's probably this one.
Yes. Yeah. So Everyone Else Thinks This Game Is Awesome is a kind of a trivia game based around being a professor and sending your grad students to different classes, which I think are just the other players. So basically, each round there's a trivia question. You write your answer privately on your little board, and then you can assign grad students up to 2 to yourself, and then up to 2 to everybody else. And then you score points based on how well people did and where people bid and whatnot. You assign them, you reveal answers and suffer the consequences, which it doesn't specifically say what those are, that you earn or lose citation points. Eventually, somebody climbs far enough up the academic ladder that they become the emeritus professor. And so, yeah, they got a bunch of question cards, an ivory tower board that is literally an ivory tower that you're climbing. That's your race to the top.
Nice.
The 32 grad students, I like they have this little asterisk. Grad students will be represented by interchangeable pawns with no control over their own destiny.
Yep.
They've got the lab map, which I think is going to be associated. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it almost has to be with the players, because it's another one of those games where it's like you're bidding on.
It's like similar to like Wits and Wagers.
Yeah, on who.
If you don't know
what
it is, then you want to bet on who you think does.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe there's a little bit of a bluffing. Like if you don't bet on yourself, everybody will be like, oh, they don't know, I won't bet on them. But like maybe you put one on yourself to be like, oh, I think I do know, and somebody will be like, oh, this does seem like something Adrian would know. Let's all bet on him. And then, haha, no, I fooled you.
I'm dumb. Haha.
I'm actually stupid. But yeah. Saturday Morning Breakfast cereal is a great comic that I do really enjoy.
Yeah.
They got a few different pledge options.
And you don't need to go anything past assistant professor because they're all sold out.
There is the tenure is not. The $100 tenure is not sold out, but you don't need it.
Okay.
It is almost sold out.
That's almost sold out.
Got about 200 left of those.
You get a signed card.
A signed card.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, so $35 gets you the base game, which plays up to 8 people. And then for $55, you can get the Sex, Drugs, and Citations base game and expansion pack.
Yes.
So there's also some add-ons that they have.
I think there's like a death
Yeah, the Death expansion add-on.
Yeah.
Um,
Fun facts about death and more.
and then maybe a booster pack that's going to be revealed later.
Yeah.
So,
I like the Wienersmith stuff.
Yeah.
He's done good things.
yeah.
He did a choose your own adventure book. I think it was Kickstarter as well.
That sounds right.
Trials of the Clone, something like that.
Sure.
Yeah. It was one of the first things I ever kickstarted, I want to say. It's
okay.
Long
That was
ago.
a while ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in the ancient times.
Before times.
Last up on Kickstarters.
Last time on Kickstarter, we have Wyrmwood shit, the hexagonal gaming system. Not in the millions yet.
No.
$541,000 of its $10,000 goal. Just about over 5,000 backers. 2 weeks left to go. You can pledge this for $20 plus $1 billion.
Yeah.
But it's at least $20 billion.
Yeah, you do $20 to get one.
Yeah. I mean, the fact
One
that
of
they're
them,
at like
one hex.
$100 a person, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which even that seems cheap when you actually get into how much these things cost, because it's like, I mean, yeah, you can get 3 of them for under $100, but the fuck are you going to do with just 3 of them? You need to get like fucking 10 of them and make the whole big set. Basically, these are little magnetic wooden hexes that all kind of clip together. They have like big cases that can hold all of them. Then the individual hexes that you can spread out. And they've got ones for fucking everything. There's ones that hold cards. There's one that hold dice, that hold minis, that have little pegs, like if you're doing D&D, that track your spell slots and things like that. Like, they've got so many. I'll actually here, for those of you on the stream, I know frames are, well, it actually looks like maybe it's smoothed out. Knock on wood.
Why'd you say that?
I know.
And you also didn't knock on wood. You just, there you go. God.
Now you owe Wyrmwood $100.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Well, and then this fucking thing is locked at the top of the... God, I hate some people's web design. What the fuck, man? So, yeah, oh, my God.
Yeah, just don't worry about it.
All
Just go
right.
back.
Yeah. That had a great overview of all the different types of like tiles you can get. So we'll just scroll through the Kickstarter a little bit for those of you on the stream, and you can see like there's big bowls, there's half bowls, quarter bowls. Like, all these hexes have all different kinds of things on them, and then you can connect them all magnetically to make your own little personal displays. So it's very customizable to how you want it set up. If you want to throw a fucking stupid amount of money at Wyrmwood and get a bunch of these, you could make some really cool custom player like resource things for a ton of different games.
Yeah.
Or like if you're doing D&D, you could have, ones for your minis and one for your spell cards and one for your dice and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, tons and tons of shit.
Yeah, if you're like, I don't feel like buying a house, let's get these trades.
Yeah, let's
instead.
just throw as much money as I can at.
No, I already have a house, and now I don't have to pay rent, and now I can afford these things.
There you go. Except I have a house, and I can't afford these things.
There's a bottle opener one. It's the tavern tile.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, card tiles, the caster tile. What the fuck even is it? Oh, it's spell slots. Okay. It's still a weird one.
Yep.
Use
your traditional dice holders, dice bins, big dice bins.
Yeah. Little dial trackers. Good for Magic the Gathering, Gloomhaven, Dominion, Sushi Go. Notepad tile. You can have a little hexy.
Mm-hmm.
You can spend $40 for a note tile. Oh, just 30, my bad. That's
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Jesus.
bargain price.
Yeah, I mean, if you get the basic wood, geez.
Yeah.
The dice tray that's like big is like $125.
Oh, yeah.
There's a coaster tile.
Well, that's the tavern tile. I was just
Oh,
talking
is it?
about that.
It's
tavern
well, I saw
tile.
the bottle. I didn't realize. So is that the other underside?
That's the
of
other
it?
side. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So $20 to $150.
Yeah, you can spend a lot of money on this. Tile racks to hold all your tiles.
Yeah.
And it's cool, but costs a lot.
It's so fucking cool. I really wish I had the money to just throw at things like this, but I don't. So
Nope.
Get a set for the podcast.
yeah, all right.
I'm sure there's cheaper.
Podcast vote. Yeah, sweet.
So I'm sure there's cheaper options.
Probably.
Yeah. You still got to get a mat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. That's
your monthly Wyrmwood update.
Yep.
That's it for news and Kickstarters.
Sure is.
No listener feedback. We do have an email, but it's not for reading. It even said at the start, not for on air.
Spoilers. Somebody sent us something.
But yeah, nothing new from Paulo's Corner in a little while.
He's always there. He's always
dutifully listening. Every time I mention, he's like, "Hey, I'm here, man.
Still here.
I'm here." We had a great email last week, so we're still riding on the high.
Banger.
It was. If you would like to get in touch with us, there's multiple ways to do so. You can send us an email.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can find us over on Twitter, where I tweet at MHGameGuys.
I am Zach_MHGG.
I am Jeff_MHGG.
We have our Instagram account at MHGameGuys. Don't suppose anything went up on there during
Not yet.
the
There is a big Facebook post, but it's probably just with friends at the moment.
Yeah.
That is a bunch of pictures. I do have a lot, but
yeah. There we go. Speaking of Facebook, Facebook.com/MHGameGuys. I recently got a notification from them that said, hey, you can add your RSS feed and publish your podcast episodes directly on Facebook. And so now we're doing that.
Oh,
so
thank God.
You can go listen to
Facebook's getting desperate.
You can go listen to our podcast.
Now I don't have to worry about not posting to there.
And for things like show notes, links to the Slack channel, all of that stuff, go over to punchboardmedia.com, search for Mile High Game Guys or MHGG, and you can see all of our episode posts with links to all of the news items and Kickstarters we talk about, links to the Slack channel, all of that stuff.
Look out, there's some drop frames.
Well, I don't know how that's
late.
the first time that's popped up. I know.
Thanks, Twitch.
I guess maybe it was a big enough chunk, like it's been steady enough that they were
it's probably like once you reach 25,000 or.
No, it's definitely happened sooner. It has to do with a rate of them, so it must be really going bonkers.
Moving along.
But yeah,
Slack
links to Slack channel, all of that stuff over there on those.
Slack is where we are.
Slack is really where we are all the time.
That's where we first started doing the MHCC stuff.
Yep. CabinCon started and was organized almost exclusively and invites almost exclusively through there. This was, to be fair, kind of a trial run to see how it goes.
Yeah.
Now that it went well, we will likely start planning a future one. Looking to add some more people potentially.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably want more than you guys said. What, 18?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll want at least 20 because Megan and I would like to go.
Yeah.
In the future. But maybe get up to like.
Oh, we might do
30
do a spring one and
it might
summer.
do 2 a year, spring and a fall.
Yeah.
So if you can't make one, maybe you can make the other.
But it wouldn't be like 6 months apart. It would be like May to like August. So that's like 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like mid spring and then like
It's
late summer.
Late ski season before it gets into the summer season.
Yeah.
When it's cheap to do these things.
Yeah. Like the spring, like all of the teachers in Slack were like, oh yeah, perfect. That's like right when school lets out. That's a great time for me to take a vacation.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, don't worry, Ofer, you're not invited.
You're the most invited.
Podcast. No, Zach will vote for him just to spite me.
Yeah.
I mean, Sumo's coming up here pretty soon. I'm looking forward to it.
My stream just said, is the video stuttering? Yes, in fact it is. That's the end of the episode, though. Sorry, podcast listeners, for any of this stuff about the shitty stream quality that doesn't get edited out.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might not. But thanks for putting up with it all.
It's endearing.
Thanks for listening to this episode. Thanks to all of the fans who actually showed out to Mile High Comic-Con.
CabinCon.
I don't know why I keep... It's because there used to be a Mile High Comic-Con here in Denver.
Yep.
Then
they changed the name, and that's like, aha, now we can get them.
Open.
Denver Pop Culture Con, and I think it's something else now too.
Yeah,
it's
but yeah, so Mile High Cabin Con because it's in a cabin. Mile High Community Con, that works too. I'm fine with that.
Sounds like a fan con about the show Community.
Get somebody there. He's like, "Where's the bed?"
Yeah.
In our hearts.
In our hearts.
That's the end of the episode. I'm done. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks everybody for watching the stream, for being fans of the show, for everything that you do, including just put up with us. We appreciate it. And as always, I've been your host, Adrian.
I'm still Zach.
And I'm Damp Jeff.
Boy.
Bye.
Bye.
Punchboard Media, where we all
bring something
to the table.
Pull up a chair
at punchboardmedia.com.